D.C.'s leaders struggle to get the crisis under control. One Democratic councilman is now calling for military intervention.
We just know that police alone is not getting it done. We're simply asking our federal partners for help and presence in our community because we know that officers who have a handgun can combat 3 people with AR-15s and AK-47s.
Now, with a tough admission from D.C.'s police chief, he told us the city's police department hasn't been this small in nearly 50 years, and it comes at a time when even the mayor admits fear of violent crime is high.
The department has had fewer than 3,400 members since December. 430 fewer officers now than we did in 2019. And likely the lowest number of officers since at least the 1970s.
The city's leaders are now sounding the alarm over a much different crisis on the streets. Violent crime jumped 37% from last year, according to the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Homicide is up 28%, with robbery up an alarming, get this, 60%. Now, a city council member is calling for the National Guard to help restore order.
There's a spirit of anarchy and lawlessness rampant through our communities. I've never seen this onslaught of violence portrayed on our women and our kids. And enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
We are clearly in a war zone. So I have spoken with the DC National Guard. And while I have to have more conversations with the chief of police, which I have today, and the mayor and my colleagues, we have a long way to get there. We just know that police alone is not getting it done. We're simply asking our federal partners for help and presence in our community because we know that officers who have a handgun can combat 3 people with AR-15s and AK-47s shooting down the street.
Violent crime in Washington is actually falling dramatically. After a spike immediately following the pandemic, the violent crime rate in D.C. has been steadily going down ever since. Even one violent crime is too many, of course.
A D.C. police commander is under investigation for allegedly making changes to crime statistics in his district. Tonight, the police department confirms Michael Pulliam was placed on paid administrative leave in mid-May.
The D.C. Police Union is putting its allegations on the record tonight, claiming police supervisors in the department are manipulating crime data to make it appear violent crime has fallen considerably when compared to last year. As of today, according to the D.C. Police website, crime is down 25%, a decrease the chairman of the police union calls preposterous. The union's allegations come as the former commander of the 3rd District stands accused of doing what the union says is being done day in and day out.
When management officials are directing officers to take reports for felony assault, or if they're going back into police databases and changing offenses to felony assault is not a category of crime that's listed on the department's daily crime stats. It's also not something that's a requirement of the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Program. So by changing criminal offenses from, for example, ADW bat or ADW gun to felony assault, that would avoid both the MPD and the FBI from reporting that as a Part 1 or a felony.
I don't care what the crime statistics say. Crime has been a problem in this city for the 32 years I've been living inside and outside of the city. It's just, even now, Meek and I, we're talking to somebody who lives in the city. These are all Democrats who said, our friends won't walk more than 3 blocks in D.C. at night.
And placing police under federal control now. Let's bring in D.C. Police Union Chairman Gregory Pemberton. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. So from your view, is this necessary?
Well, look, we completely agree with the president that crime in the District of Columbia is out of control and something needs to be done with it. We have to go back to how we got here, though. In 2020, the D.C. City Council passed an enormous amount of legislation that handcuffs police officers, exposes them to administrative, civil, and even criminal liability, even when they do their jobs properly. And now, 5 years later, our authorized sworn strength is 4,000 sworn police officers. We currently have 3,180. So we have more than 800 vacancies for the position of police officer. And the way the department makes up for that gap is through 2 million hours of mandatory overtime every year. So the fact that we need help from federal law enforcement and maybe even the National Guard, it shouldn't come as a surprise, and we agree with that. I think one of the issues here, though, is that we all know that's going to be temporary. So in order to fix this problem and make sure that it doesn't ebb and flow and that the feds come in and we lower crime and then they leave and we're left holding the bag, it's very important that people know that there is underlying legislation that needs to be corrected so that we can actually properly staff this police department in order to properly police the city.
Under Section 740 of the Home Rule Act, the president can assume direct command of the Metropolitan Police Department. That's the section Trump cited when he announced the takeover.
Going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that.
By invoking Section 740, he removed the mayor's control over the police department and installed his own federal commissioner. So this obviously leads to the question, can this happen anywhere? Chicago, New York, in your city? Well, the answer is no. Unlike New York, Chicago, or LA, DC's local autonomy exists only because Congress allows it to. If Congress or the president decide to step in, local authorities have no veto. It's the same reason Congress can block DC from spending its own tax revenue on certain programs, and why a president can deploy federal agencies or even the National Guard here without any state approval. But the Constitution does not give them authority to take over any city in the United States. That's what makes DC unique.